I don't do a lot, or I don't do much, because I don't do much direct to seller stuff. I occasionally do skip tracing if I gotta find a buyer, but yeah, I don't
Nothing
do it.
bulk heavy, nothing like 5,000 records or anything.
No, not nearly that much. It's usually just a one-off, like, a buyer, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
What's going on?
Oh man, just trying to live life, bro. How's your trip, man? I saw that they canceled on you the day you got there for
Yeah,
for your Airbnb or where were
it
you
worked out. I ended up getting another place and back downtown now. I'm hearing feedback. Are you?
No, that might be my hand by the microphone.
Okay.
Is it gone now?
Yeah, it might be. It might have been
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that sounds better.
How
So
long you off?
Marco, what's going on? I see Marco's just hopped on Facebook Live here. Oh man, so that Monroe or that Snohomish deal, what was even going on with that thing?
I so then because I was up at like 5 o'clock and then I fell asleep and I got a call from Chloe, I guess. And then she told me about it. I was like, huh? Like, no, I don't know anything about it. So I hop on the phone with little boy. And he's like, no, I don't know anything about that either. But I did, tell some of the people. I'm like, then we all have to be one band, one sound. You can't just do all these other things. And I don't know. Like when I said, well, I'm gonna bring somebody in real quick to help us. That's what I did. It's called communication. I kept your abreast of it and I let you know what's going on. One band, one sound. You didn't do that.
Mm.
And so I haven't had any problems doing anything, JV, and I don't think I don't think I'll be working with him for a minute, man. I just don't like the taste in my mouth. And then he said, like, yeah, I didn't approve any of that stuff. I don't know what they're talking about. Because then it took me from the emails that your team sent me, it took me to investor lift and it's like 400K. I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yep. So like here is something that I have learned and still am not consistently doing it. And this is just another example of why I should be, is like on every deal that you're JVing with somebody, you need to get a copy, even a redacted copy is fine, but a copy of the purchase and sale agreement, because you can potentially end up in a situation where you're working with somebody who says that they're direct to seller and they're not on the deal. And if they're not direct to seller, then you don't know how far away from that seller they actually are, right? And so we were just, for people that are tuning in here, we were just working on a deal that we were marketing at 530K and get an email from somebody who's marketing the same deal at 400K, and that's like this huge difference. And we're like, what the heck is going on here? Why is this other person blasting it out at, $130,000 less than we are? And it turns out, well, we're not working directly with the contract holder, right? We don't even know who the contract holder is necessarily on this deal. So anyway, lesson learned again on that. If we're gonna do JVs,
I'm sorry, Rob.
Make sure you get a copy of the PSA and then go from there. I mean, the other thing too, I've ended up in a situation where I've sent out a deal that somebody's given me that they said they were direct to seller on, and then all of a sudden I get a phone call from the person that actually is direct to seller on the deal saying, what the hell are you doing? Why are you blasting out my deal? I didn't give you permission to do this. You can't be just taking my deals and blasting them out. So it's always super important, if you're going to JV, verify that the person you're working with actually has it under contract, and you're less likely to run into a situation like we did on this one. So anyway, this has happened multiple times to me. So, and I keep
Yeah, this
saying
hasn't happened to me before.
we just need to do it now. We just need to make sure every time we do this. And I know some wholesalers that you JV with are going to be potentially reluctant to send you even a redacted version of the purchase and sale agreement. But I think it's pretty necessary if you're going to be sending out other people's deals that you know that they actually have them locked up. So that's my
I think for
that's
me,
my
it's the transparency because he came to me and he knows I'm in this area. So this is like our third or fourth deal, whatever. I just didn't know that A, he had other people. You should tell me that. And B, you should be transparent about that and just communicate it. There's no reason not to be. Again, one band, one sound.
Yep.
And now I gotta look bad in front of Rob. So
What's that?
from that awesome moment in Bangalore. What time is it over there? Must be like 4 o'clock.
12:30 in the morning.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I've been working some funky hours this week. Jenny, I see you just jumped on the call. How's it going? If you're there or you're lurking. If anybody else wants to jump on that's on Facebook Live, I dropped the Zoom link in the chat window here. You can either join that or you can drop some comments in the window here. Jason and I were just discussing a deal that we were JVing on that went bust due to lack of communication. And speaking of that, actually, I mean, we had another deal that busted. It was with an agent actually that didn't have the deal locked up, but they were representing the seller on it, and they had communicated what price that the seller would be good with. And so we took that and ran with it. We asked him, hey, can we send this to our buyers, at this price? He said, yeah, go ahead and do that. And so we did that and got a bunch of people interested at that price, got a couple of offers on it sight unseen. And then all of a sudden the agent decided to raise the price on it and said, well, the seller's wanting more. And, now we're stuck because what we had told our buyers was one thing. And now, the target had changed. So so when working with agents too on these deals, it's you definitely need to make sure that you're actually locking these things up first before communicating to your buyers that you have something available for them, because this ended up being a moving target and we ended up with some buyers that were not very happy with us in the end because we weren't able to get to this deal to them at the price that they had wanted it for. So that was another lesson learned about having, making sure things are buttoned up before sending them out and everything is locked up and actually under contract. So yeah, just be careful out there. So what else are you working on right now, Jason? Anything?
No, just my skip racing. That's what's there right now, man. I gotta get I'm launching out with somebody else with the core stuff I was talking about. So just getting all that stuff and getting my builds up. So that's what's going into play.
Yeah.
At the immediate moment. And just calling in Ohio. That's about it.
So Jenny, are you there? So you're on the call.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm totally new to this thing, so I don't even know if I should even be on this call.
Oh,
I don't know.
So
Yeah,
where are you at? Well, first of all, where are you at physically? Where are you in the Seattle area? Or are you somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay.
Seattle, Washington.
All right, cool. And then where are you at with real estate and wholesaling in general right now?
I haven't even got my feet wet. So
Yeah.
this is my first my first meeting with you guys.
That's awesome.
Okay,
So,
so I'm still in a
yeah.
corporate job, which I am trying to leave. Well, I want to because I've been here for over 15 years and um it's not creating generational wealth, I tell you that.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for a serious change. And I joined the 10X group with Francis and Ty. I think you know who they are.
Yep.
I joined their group and I went to their meetup a couple of times, including the lunar one they had last week. And
About
yeah,
those
yeah.
from what I
And I know Tide like does a lot of flips and things like that, but I also just took a couple of like I don't know, not classes, but just like YouTube videos about wholesaling, and that kind of piqued my interest. And so
okay.
when my friend told me about you, I was like, oh, he has a ask me anything on Wednesdays. Let me see if I
Yeah.
can bring
Okay.
him and join. So here I am.
Awesome. All right. So do you have any specific questions then?
Yeah,
Like as you're kind of getting into this that you're
what?
looking.
Yeah, like what do you even start? Like I don't even like. Yeah, where do you start?
So do you have any background in experience in real
Nope.
estate at all?
Nope.
So you're like just starting out in real estate, like
Yes.
period. Okay.
Yes. How
All
long have
right.
you been doing this?
Real estate for about almost 12 years now.
Oh, wow.
Wholesaling specifically,
Okay.
maybe 4 years.
Okay.
So I started as an investor buying deals, and then I kind of got into wholesaling to find deals for myself. And then I
Mm-hmm.
sell deals that you know, didn't fit my criteria and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want, I would wholesale those. And that over time just became more and more of the deals I was doing. I ended up wholesaling more and more of these.
I
So,
see. I
um,
see.
yeah,
What really
so
interested me was I just thought this would be a great way to start, just because, to try to get some cash flow in,
mm,
just to build your capital and things like that. And then like maybe look into flipping and rentals later on down the road.
yeah, so that's
That's
like
my thought process.
that, yeah, that is a pretty logical progression. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people who get into real estate do so
Yeah.
through wholesaling first, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a way to kind of build your capital
Mhm.
and get some deals done, and then you'll start seeing deals that you think you might want to keep for yourself at some point, either as a flip or as a rental or something like that. And so it's kind of a natural progression, right? So you start out
Right.
by finding the deals and then finding buyers who want to keep those deals, and then eventually as your network kind of grows and you get more experience with
Mm.
how this works, you'll become more comfortable with wanting to take on one of these projects yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people who get, or who are real estate investors, wholesaling is very often the first step of that
I
process.
see.
Yeah.
I see.
So, yeah. So it possibly could be very overwhelming to start with, given that you don't have any background in
Mm-hmm.
real estate, because just the mechanics of how a real estate transaction works can
Mm-hmm.
seem rather daunting if
Yeah.
you've done it, before. So don't let that deter you. Like the biggest thing is to take action and do something
Okay.
first, right? The whole thing is like about finding deals. Like if you can find a house that is underpriced, or if you find a seller that wants to sell their house, and they're willing to
Mhm.
sell that at a discount because they just need the property gone,
Yeah.
you can potentially make a profit off of that, right? And if you find something that you know somebody, or you come across somebody that wants to sell something, there's plenty of people out there, like probably like Ty and myself and other wholesalers as well, who could like help walk you through the process of like,
Mhm.
okay, got somebody that you're talking to now, what's kind of the next step to move that
Oh, right.
see if you can actually, make it work as a wholesale deal, right?
Yeah, I would love that actually.
And then the question too is like, so you got a full-time job, so how much time, realistically are you able to dedicate to doing this? I mean, you don't need to be doing it full-time. I didn't start out doing it full-time. I had a day job as well for,
Yeah. So you start out doing this part-time, right? With your
yeah,
regular day. Okay, so
yeah.
realistically, let me ask you, like, how much time do you think I would need to invest in doing this? Because I do want to succeed in it. I don't want to just, because I'm serious about this. So
Yeah, so it's, to me, I think it's all about the consistency
okay.
and not
Yeah.
necessarily the amount of time that you're able to dedicate to it. So let's just say, for the sake of
Okay.
argument, you can do 15 hours a week, like 2 hours a day on average.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're able to consistently do, take actionable steps 2 hours every day on
Yeah.
doing this, you're
Yeah.
going to see much better results than if you like have 15 hours that you're doing 1 week and you go all out, but then like 3 weeks goes by and then you don't do anything, right? It's
Right.
almost better to say, okay, instead of doing that, that 15 hours 1 week and then taking 2 weeks off, to say, I'm just going to do five
I
hours,
see. Right.
5 hours every week. I'm going to have a routine. I'm going to do this and this and this, and I'm going to do this like religiously every single week,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be the key. So
Okay.
the focus shouldn't necessarily be on the amount of hours that you're doing, but the time that you do have available to you, making sure that you have a plan and you are consistently following what it is that you need to do, and probably starting out like you don't even know what that is, right? So
Right. Exactly.
it's kind
Like, do I need
of
a business license? Do I need to be a real estate agent?
right. So yeah, these are all really good questions. So first answer is no, you don't need to be an agent. I'm not licensed. It can help in some scenarios, like people that are licensed have an advantage over people that are not,
Uh-huh.
in some respects. But I personally don't have my license, and I'm not planning on, I was originally planning on getting it, but now I'm not. I'm getting too many deals sent my way, and I
Mm,
don't feel like I need my license right now.
okay.
You will need a business license, but in order to go out and start finding deals, like, don't let that
Oh,
stop you
okay. Okay.
doing
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Like,
So if you're
a lot of
not a real
people.
estate agent, how do you find deals? Do you just old-fashioned way, just driving around, or how do you? I'm sorry,
There,
like all these
yeah,
dumb questions. Because
there's a lot of ways to find deals. Like, there's a zillion ways to find deals. Like, so what some people do, they'll send postcards, they'll pull distressed lists of distressed homeowners, like people that are behind on taxes, things like that, send them postcards, or they'll call, look up their phone numbers and cold call them, run Facebook ads, run Google ads. I personally do a lot of like organic networking, looking for
yeah,
deals. So I'm,
I saw
working with,
some of the ones you posted on Facebook too.
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I do a lot of outreach, just talking to everybody that I can network with, telling them about what
Okay.
I'm for. And if you tell people about what you're looking for, and they come across something or they have
Mm,
something that might, send it your way,
I
right?
see, right.
Going to these meetup groups, like sometimes the best deals you find are you'll just meet somebody in one of these meetup
Mhm.
that has somebody or they know somebody who has something, right?
Yeah,
So if you're just starting out, like I think networking is a pretty amazing way to find
okay,
deals. The thing is you have to be like kind of going back to being like consistent with it, right? So
yeah.
like, saying, okay, well, like you're gonna do it one week and then then you don't do anything for a month. And I'm guilty of this too. Like this, I've learned from my own mistakes of like going all in like super hard and then like not doing anything
Mhm.
for a while. And when what I'm
Oh,
seeing is
yeah, been there.
even when I feel like it's not working, if I stick with it and I just do a little bit at a time, like you're gonna eventually see results with that. So I would say starting out and then driving for dollars is another like way, just finding crappy houses that don't look nice and then looking up that owner
Mm,
info and seeing.
And you can
So
also drive for dollars on Google Maps. So
yeah,
cool kids are doing nowadays.
yeah,
mm,
yeah. So
okay.
um yeah, so there are so many different possibilities,
Mm.
You can call a
to
title company, get a list in terms
yeah,
of data set, absentee owners,
Oh,
probate
okay.
owners. You can
yeah,
go online, and then you get a list that way of certain parameters, and then you get that list get traced, and do the cold calling yourself. Or I would always say do the cold calling yourself because you got to get the reps. That way you learn how to talk to them,
Okay,
and you can handle different personalities and things like that.
okay.
yeah. But I mean, here's the other thing too, is like you need to find something that fits your personality type, as far as how you're finding your deals goes. Because
Mm,
if you don't like um just cold calling people that probably don't want to talk to you,
yeah, that one sounds kind of hard.
like it's going to be very difficult to stick with that, especially when it seems like it's not working. So
Just brings back old
getting
memories now.
after getting rejected for 20 or
Yes.
30 straight times and getting told to F off and
Yep.
all this other stuff, it's going to be quitting is going to seem very appealing to you at that point, right? So you need to find a way to find deals that, when things are getting tough, you're not going to
Okay.
get as discouraged and you want to be less likely to quit during those harder periods.
Okay.
So that's going to be key for sure.
What
And
was your, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's okay to try a bunch of different things too, to see like what might be the best fit for
Right.
you. Right. But kind of
Right.
and then going back to consistency, once you kind of settle on something, just stick with that and get really, really good at it.
Got it. Yeah.
So my problem when I had started out was I tried Facebook ads for a while, and then I tried, what else did I do? I did direct mail. I had a cold caller, and I didn't really stick with any of those things for long enough to see it work, except maybe the cold caller I ended up keeping for a while. But yeah, the key will be to say, oh, I've done this for 3 months and it's not doing anything, so I'm going to try something else now, because cold calling doesn't work now because there's too many people
Mm-hmm.
cold calling, or direct mail doesn't work because there's too many people direct mailing, and those are just
Yeah.
mindset limiting belief things, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get really, really good at direct mail and figuring that out, you can do it, right? But
Yep.
it's just be a matter of sticking with that long enough to figure out how to make it work for you.
So for you specifically, what has worked the best?
For me, so I was doing a cold caller and then just organic networking outreach. And I found that at 10 to 1, I was getting more revenue through networking than through my cold caller. And yet I was spending most of my money on lists, on skip tracing, on the cold caller themselves, on the dialer, all that stuff. So I was like, this does not make any sense. Well, am I spending this money? And I'm getting 10 times more return, doing something that I'm not spending any money in marketing on. So it's pretty much just all, organic networking and just putting the word out there about what it is that I'm looking for to people. So, and I have a very, very kind of disciplined process on how I go about doing that, both on the acquisition side as far as finding the deals, and then on the disposition side as far as finding the buyers and the approach that we have for going out and actually selling those deals, once we get them locked up.
Do you go through the same avenue too to try to find a buyer? How do you find buyers then? And then
Buyers,
who does the contract? Who does all the numbers of the contract stuff?
Who does what on the contract?
The contract.
So for the buyers, it's the process of finding them is a bit different. We have a few different tools that we use for finding buyers.
Okay.
But Facebook is a pretty awesome resource. Now, 99.9% of people, if you post a deal out there, are going to be tire kickers for that deal in particular. But you can always go back and vet them and get more details about what sort of deals that they're looking for specifically, so that when you do get something that matches that, then you're more likely to sell it. But is like an awesome place to start for finding buyers. Then, title companies have lists of people that have purchased deals, for cash. And so that's another good place to start. Then there's some software tools that I use as well for doing, for finding deals.
Okay.
So, if anybody is on Facebook Live right now that wants to jump on the Zoom call, I'll go ahead and paste the link in here. Or you can just drop your comments into the chat window, and away we go. All right. So Wayne is asking me, marketing a lot of deals, are you mostly working locally or other states as well? So historically, I was actually working in Oklahoma City from Seattle, wholesaling deals there, but I pretty much have just been focusing on Seattle as far as wholesaling deals goes now. And then I'm still looking to buy in other states where the cash flow is better, but the focus has been primarily here in the Seattle area. I have connected with a hedge fund that's buying in Oklahoma and the Atlanta and Indianapolis. So I have been occasionally sending deals to them that some other wholesalers in those markets have been sending me. But as far as markets that I'm like really looking for, it's been all local. So, and at some points, I'll look at probably expanding into other markets also, but I really want to get my process to the point before I do that streamline enough where I can like step away from it completely, and feel like everything is taken care of, and then basically take what I have and then replicate it over to a different market. So I'm not going to do that though until I'm comfortable enough here where I can step away and delegate everything. So what else you got, Jenny?
Oh, well, okay. Okay, if you don't mind.
Yeah, keep going.
Um, realistically, how much capital do you need though to start the beginning?
Well, so I don't think you need, so you're going to need money, like earnest money deposits. If you are doing your own marketing, then yeah, you're probably going to need, you know, potentially thousands of dollars to run that. If you are just doing organic networking, then you don't really need anything. If it's basically going to be a trade-off of time versus money, right?
Right,
So
right.
if you got some time and you don't want to spend the money to hire out somebody to, you know, do direct mail or to do cold calling and that sort of thing, then you're going to have to spend that time yourself, right? So you can save on money as long as you have the time to do that.
Yep.
You know,
Got it.
if working a day job and you kind of try to want to leverage your time and you have the capital to do that, then it might make sense to hire somebody to help you out with the cold calling or pulling lists and that sort of stuff. But in theory, you don't need a whole lot of capital to start with wholesaling. So if you're resourceful and a go-getter and take action, you can totally do this without a whole lot of capital to start with, for sure.
Okay.
So don't let that scare you either. So
okay. Well, I tried, to be honest with you, while doing my 9 to 5, I tried the Amazon business and that I burned myself. Yeah, it didn't work. And I just don't want to go down that path again. But I think, well, I was pushing myself too hard, working like, 14, 15 hours a day.
yeah.
So I've learned that, yes, although, as much as I want this, I need to kind of pace myself a little bit and not, overextend myself. So that's something I'll have to keep in mind, jumping into this, but yeah, that really burned me.
Yeah, so that's a pretty important point, right? It's because if you burn yourself out, then that's gonna kind of go back to the inconsistency thing, right? So you work really hard for a few weeks and then you have to take a bunch of time off because you're just so exhausted, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely trying to strike a balance there between, wanting to escape from your day job and at the same time not wanting to completely kill yourself because you're working so hard, right?
Yeah.
And it's definitely a balance. And for me, I mean, I was there too. I was doing consulting and then doing this on the side, and I was at the point where I was doing maybe a deal, every couple months, and I kind of took a look at, okay, I'm spending 30 hours a week. I was working 30 hours a week. And then I was like, if I took that 30 hours a week, right, basically 120 hours a month, and I dedicate that to just wholesaling, like what if I quit my job and I just dedicate those hours to like finding deals? Like how many deals would I have to find every month to make up for that income I lost from my day job, right? And it's basically one, maybe 2 deals. And I'm like, surely, like the logic says, surely I've got 120 hours in a month, I can find a deal, right? But it's scary to let go of your day job because you're guaranteed a paycheck, you're guaranteed benefits, and wholesaling, there's no guarantees, right? You could make you could make 60K one month, then you could make zero then the next month. So, I mean, you could put in 120 hours and, make way more than you were making at your day job, or you could make
Yeah.
nothing. So that's
Yeah.
the conundrum, right? And it's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, it's scary because I do own a home that I live in right now.
Right. And
So I have responsibilities, the mortgage, and so I can't quit my job yet unless my side hustle can bring me enough, can replace my day job. I don't feel comfortable in just quitting,
yeah,
going all in at this right now.
yeah. Yeah, so my buddy Johnny has just jumped on Facebook Live, says this is real virtual wholesaling from another country altogether. So yeah, he says it's eat what you kill, entrepreneurship and wholesaling. It can be a little terrifying.
Mhm.
And when I left my job, when I decided the day I was gonna tell my employer that I wasn't gonna take on any more projects, any more consulting projects, I thought I was gonna wake up the next day and be like, oh my God, I feel so free. And it wasn't like that. I woke up and I was scared shitless. But now looking back, and this was like a little over 2 years ago, or no, it was about 2 years ago now. I was like, why did I wait so long to quit? Like
Oh, so you were doing part-time up until like 2 years ago.
yeah,
I see.
yeah. And I was at a job that was really hard for me for 14 years.
Mhm.
I love the people that I worked with, but the work itself, like I
Yeah.
didn't find very inspiring at all, and just sucking
Mm.
life out of me. And now looking back, my regret is like, why didn't I quit way sooner? I mean,
Yeah.
the strange thing too is when I quit 2 years ago, my financial position was way, way, way worse than it had been in the previous years. I was in a way better position to quit my job on, 10 years ago. Anybody looking at my
Oh.
situation 2 years ago would not look at my situation and say, yeah, now is a really good time for you to leave your job.
See.
So, but the world didn't end. I'm still here. I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy to be where I'm at now. And
No, did you have a mentor when you started?
that
Like what got you?
did I join a mentorship group?
Did you have a mentor to kind of help you along and guide
Oh
you?
yeah. So I joined a
Okay.
mentorship program. I don't know, you're probably not familiar with Jamil Damji, but their group started out pretty small a few years ago. And so when I was first looking, kind of considering leaving my job, I was like, okay, I've done real estate for a while, but I really want to like try to learn this from somebody who like is actually doing this like all the time. And
Right.
so I connected with Jamil's group, who is called Keegley, and they're doing about 100 deals a month in just Phoenix. And so I
Wow.
joined their group, and so they had a whole program lined up, and basically their approach to how they find deals and how they dispo deals and all that stuff. And so they kind of broke it all down. And so I figured, okay, if I can take somebody else's recipe and follow that exactly, I can hopefully get to where I want to go a lot faster than
Right.
if I'm trying to figure out everything on my own.
Yeah.
Right? And my goal was to quit my job, and I felt like if I didn't get some sort of help, it was going to take me a lot longer to do that. So so I was really glad I did. I like got way more out of that mentorship program than I had put in to it, right? And it
Okay.
was scary because it was a lot of money at the time to, pay for it, but it ended up coming back, in multiples from the amount I put in. So yeah, it's definitely good to start figuring stuff out on your own for sure. But yeah, getting plugged in with a mentor is probably gonna get you to where it is you want to go a lot quicker. So I've
Okay.
plugged for myself. I've started doing a mentorship program. So I don't know if anybody out there that's watching right now, I've started putting this out there because I get a lot of DMs asking me about mentorship and stuff like that. So yeah, feel free to DM me after this if you want to, talk a little bit more about that, or if there's anybody watching Facebook Live that is interested in that.
Okay.
Just a DM, and we can talk a little bit more about what I'm offering, kind of the stuff that I'm going to be showing people how to do is basically following the process that I do for finding deals and finding buyers for those deals and dispoing them. So but anyway, in the meantime, I like host this once a week so people can just jump on and ask questions as well. So yeah, so what else you got? Like, what is it like? What specifically would you like to do next? Like, what are your goals? Like, what would you see your goal like in your ideal world in the next 6 months? Where would you like to be if you started like doing something today on this? Oh, did I lose you? You still there, Jenny?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're really muffled now.
Uh-oh. Okay, how about now?
Okay. All right. I don't know if you caught any of that.
Let's see. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Gotta love these intermittent internet stuff. Okay. I would love to maybe have, oh my God, this is just, okay. They say to dream big, so that's what I'm gonna do. Maybe in the next 6 months, maybe have 5 wholesale deals done. I don't know. And after that, maybe 1 flip.
Okay.
That, yeah. And then
Okay.
maybe by the end of the year, maybe more wholesale deals.
Okay.
But yeah, that would be my dream.
Okay. That's totally doable. So then the next thing is, what is it that you're gonna do as your kind of first step then in that whole
My
process?
first step is I'm gonna just sign up for some online courses just so that I can familiarize myself with just the whole concept and the terminologies, and just so that when I jump into these meetings and calls, I kind of know what you guys are talking about. So that would be my first step, just to kind of, just because it's like a totally different language to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then continue going to those networking groups or meetups. Try to find a mentor. So yeah, that would be
Yeah.
my action
Those
items.
are good for sure. Yeah, for education, probably getting, looking up information about just the mechanics of how a real
Yes.
estate action works would be super important and
Yeah.
useful. So just like about purchase and sale agreements and assignments and earnest money deposits and how title companies work, kind of those things are going to be important. Oh, cool. So Johnny just posted in the Facebook Live Zach Finn has a free wholesaling course here. I'll paste the link here.
Okay.
Zoom window. So let me know if you can see this here. Oh wow, that didn't do what I was expecting it to do. Johnny, is it flipwithrick.com? That's the link it's directing me to. Zach Gin's Wholesale Mastery, it looks like. I don't know if I'm looking at the right thing here. I'll just paste this in the chat window, but it looks like it's a free like mini course sort of thing. That's probably a really good place to start.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I just pasted it in the Zoom chat. So let me know if you can see it in there.
Yeah, I see it.
Cool.
Let's see.
All right. Yeah, so and then YouTube University, another really good resource if you look up, I'll type it in the window here. Jamil Danji and Pace Morby have really good content on YouTube for free.
Okay.
They call it Wholesale Hotline.
Okay.
And it's basically like an office hours as well.
Okay.
And they've done a ton of them. So there's lots of good content on there from Jamil.
Okay, great. On YouTube.
So Johnny says, as far as Zach Finn's free course goes, it's a good place to learn the basics, and then their more stuff is worth paying for. So if you want to get further into what they're offering.
Great. Oh, here it is. All right.
But yeah, so
okay, well, I think that's all I have as far as initial questions, but if you have any advice for me, or if anybody else has any questions for you, I'm just gonna be here to listen and learn.
Yeah, so I'm probably just getting ready to jump off here. It's almost 1:30 here.
All right, that's right. You're in India.
So I've been up to like 2 a.m. the last few nights because I've kind of been working with my team back home in the first half of the day, and then I try to sleep, but then I wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning because I got serious FOMO. I hear all the noise outside and I want to go out and explore. So I haven't been sleeping very much. So I don't know how much of it's jet lag and how much it's just wanting to be outside and be doing things. So John's asking, what's your team look like nowadays? So I've got a couple of people in the Philippines. Two of them are on my social media accounts. So they're the ones that are either posting the deals that I'm posting or answering the inquiries that people respond to, or looking for new buyers and going out and getting their contact information. So they're handling everything like on my Facebook page and Instagram and stuff like that. And then I've got an acquisition disposition manager here in the US that she's working on finding deals and then also helping dispo them. And then I've got another assistant in Venezuela, and he is pretty much just responsible for like hammering the phones, looking for buyers for our deals. So he's on the phone pretty much all day, calling up buyers for any deal that we got, looking up anybody that we already have in our database, and then also using tools like PropStream and InvestorLift to try to find buyers that we don't already have a relationship with, and that we that we know have bought something in the recent past and might be interested in that deal. So I guess that makes a total of four people, including myself, that we're doing. So how about you? What have you been up to? I see you occasionally you're posting stuff on Instagram, and it looks like you're still closing some deals in Oklahoma and maybe some other states now as well. So yeah, Johnny and I connected like a few years ago. I think I looked at a deal of his in Oklahoma, and then I looked at it, buying it for myself originally, because I was buying deals in Oklahoma. I was buying houses as rentals down there. And I think it wasn't a good deal for me, but then we attempted to JV on it, and I don't think we ended up selling it. Let's see here. And then the other, oh wow, nice. So you got like five recent hires. Are they all local, or are they virtual, and what are their roles? So Kasuma is asking, if a wholesaler can't dispo a property, how much money do you lose? Do you have to pay the seller some money to get an assignment contract signed? So typically how I structure things is the contract with the seller that I have, I'll put some earnest money down on that contract. So let's say the purchase price, for the sake of argument, is 500,000, and that part's kind of irrelevant. But let's say I agree to put $2,000 earnest money down, and my contract with the seller will have some sort of inspection period in there. So like, let's say it's a 30-day close, that contract, and then I have a 2-week inspection period, for example. So I can use that 2-week inspection period to market the deal to the buyers, have the buyers come out, take a look at it, have them come out with their contractors, run their numbers, put rehab estimates together, and kind of get all their numbers dialed in. And at that point, the buyers are either going to say, yeah, this deal works at the price that you have it at, or they're going to say, like, you're way off on your numbers. Our rehab numbers are coming way more than you had originally anticipated. This property isn't worth 500 as is. We need to get it at 450, right? So then if I'm within that 2-week inspection period, I can go back to the seller, say, hey, like, the bids on this are coming in way higher. In order to make this thing work, we're going to need to be at something below 450, right? The seller says no, and which case I can't dispo the property then, right? Because I can't get it low enough. If I'm within that 2-week inspection period, then I can still get my earnest money back, and I don't have to give anything to the seller. Now, let's say we've had this happen on deals where a buyer will say they'll take it, and then we got all the way to the closing table on it, and then the buyer ends up not being able to close. We just had this happen because one buyer's lender decided at the 11th hour they weren't going to lend on this, or they want a larger down payment or something like that, and so the buyer couldn't close on it. In that case, we're already past the inspection period, so yes, the seller would get to keep the earnest money in that case. But it wasn't our earnest money, it was the end buyers. Because what happens is we'll put earnest money down initially on it. When we assign the property, the end buyer puts earnest money down. When it gets assigned, their earnest money replaces ours. We get our earnest money back. Now it's their earnest money that's at title. If they don't close on it at that point, it's them that loses their earnest money, and not us, if that makes sense. So So yeah, so it's totally acceptable if like you end up locking up a deal and you misjudge how much work it's going to need, and so the price that you lock it up at is too high to get your earnest money back if you're still within that inspection period. Now, let's say you go beyond that inspection period and then you still don't have a buyer and you don't end up finding a buyer, then yes, you would end up losing that earnest money. So yes, definitely something to be very, very, very careful with, especially if you end up putting a large amount of earnest money down on a deal to secure it. So Johnny's got operations manager, track all the KPIs, an act manager, lead manager, 4 callers, all virtual. That's awesome. That sounds like you are humming along. And what markets are you in now? Just out of curiosity. So. All right. Let's see here. Okay, I think that's all the questions that had come in, and I'm going to answer a few more messages and then completely crash for the night, and then probably be up again in the morning, heading out to get some more doses and filter coffee, which have been super good here and super cheap as well. Best of both worlds. So, all right, guys, any other questions, comments, whatever, just drop me a DM. I will not be online next week. I'm going to be traveling back home. So next Wednesday, I'll be off, but I'll be back the following Wednesday. So yeah, just feel free to DM me if you need something before then. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time.
Thanks so much, Rob.
All right. Thanks, Jenny. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.